job of living. Okay? Did you know that the demand for occupational therapists is rising? The job growth increasing 27% until at least 2024. So if you guys want a career change, you will have good job security being an occupational therapist. More than half of the occupational therapists work in hospitals and private practice. They provide rehabilitation services for children, infants, adults, adolescents, and elderly. We work with a variety of diagnoses, developmental delays, to birth defects, to traumatic brain injuries, stroke patients, Parkinson's, cardiac issues, and a lot of variety of neurological problems, Alzheimer's, dementia patients, and mental illness. We do internships in all these areas, and so we may have a specialty, however, we do have a well-rounded curriculum. One reason the demand for occupational therapy is up in hospitals is that these facilities recognize that occupational therapy has a role in lowering readmission rates and successful outcomes for our patients at time of discharge. They help meet the needs of the patients in a cost-effective way, and OT is one of the rehab services that is essential benefit covered by the Affordable Care Act. OTRs are nationally registered and state licensed healthcare professionals. OTR means a therapist holds a master's degree and is nationally registered after passing a postgraduate exam. We also have OTDs, which are doctors of occupational therapy. You might also hear the word CODA. A CODA is a certified occupational therapy assistant. They can't do evaluations, however, they can help carry out a treatment plan of an occupational therapist. However, OTs and CODAs are also filling a niche for the elderly that's not just focused on rehab. As people are aging, we're finding they want to stay in their homes and in their natural environments. Occupational therapists can help them do that by making modifications in their homes to reduce falls or to increase mobility, especially here in South Pasadena. Boy, we've got, I know our house is built in 1905, and getting a wheelchair from room to room or up the stairs was definitely a challenge for us. So occupational therapists can recommend adaptive equipment or help you to reduce barriers in your home. They can teach energy conservation techniques and pacing for the medically recovering loved one while they're performing their activities of daily living. OT can help adjust their daily routine, including safe practices with dressing and bathing and medication management. Help them develop home exercise programs that are safe with their diagnosis, and safety in their bathroom and kitchen activities. OTs can train caregivers and help set up a structured home program like Train the Trainer that can help with activities of daily living. We're especially trained to evaluate physical abilities, cognition, executive functioning skills, including safety, judgment, time management, someone's attention abilities, memory, and organizational skills. We also are more specialized in visual perceptual problems and helping people with activities of daily living, not only in the home, but also in the community. OTs focus on prevention. We focus on prevention and wellness programs. They have much training on how people move and use their bodies in the environment, and also how disease impacts people over time. Occupational therapists are familiar with the American Disabilities Act, which provides legal guidelines for community accessibility and helps with home functionality. If you're having difficulty performing activities of daily living, or a loved one that you has one, you can know that most insurance companies will cover an occupational therapy evaluation of your home with a prescription from a medical doctor. It's also, home assessments are covered under Part B of Medicare. The occupational therapist has knowledge of body mechanics, kinesiology, physiology, anatomy, psychology, and task analysis that help them to evaluate their clients' strengths and weaknesses and break down their activities of daily living so they can function in them. Some occupational therapists have specialized certifications in environmental modifications and ergonomics. Other OT specialization areas include driving evaluations and community mobility, feeding, eating, and swallowing therapy, low vision, hand therapy with modalities, specialize in splints and prosthetic training, and computer technology and sensory integration therapy. Occupational therapy practitioners have a broader view of the person than other disciplines. They understand the physical, sensory, cognitive, and emotional difficulties facing their clients and strive to keep the clients as independent and as safe as possible in their environment. They also recognize the needs for a patient's goals to be meaningful to the patient, realistic, and foster independence in daily living. Occupational therapists recognize the importance of having a work-rest-play balance in their life. Occupational therapy helps to put more years in your life and more life in your years. Occupational therapy has been a profession since 1917. They started when they helped World War I veterans come back and assimilate and function and be successful returning to community life. You can find occupational therapists in hospitals, private clinics, schools, community organizations, and also find them at the American Occupational Therapy Association website, or you can find some at the Occupational Therapy Association of California website. I gave in your goodie bags, a lot of you got the functional solution catalogs that has a lot of adaptive equipment that will help people to stay independent rather than depending on caregivers for all their ADLs. One thing I always tell caregivers when you're working with someone is have them try to do what they can for themselves first before you help them. You'd be surprised how many very complicated medically or demented patients that I have that can still get themselves dressed and feed themselves. And if you assume that they can't do it, then you're enabling them to be dependent. So think about that when you look at these things. As an occupational therapist, I try to see that somebody can do something by themselves first, and then if they need to try to do it with adaptive equipment, that would be next. And third, it would be caregiver assistance. So that's how I succeed, and hopefully you can help people to stay in their homes and function as they get older and need help. Okay. I just want to make an announcement that I'm going to be doing 2 one-hour classes at the Senior Center. One is going to be on May 22nd, and it's going to be on activities of daily living and independence with ADL. So if any of you or any of your loved ones are having difficulty with the basic things like bathing, dressing, they need help with problem solving, how to get their laundry done, they're fatiguing, they're having pain issues, things that we can help them with to become more independent at home, please have them come to the seminar. My second seminar I'm going to be doing is going to be on June 19th, and it's going to be on activities of daily living, but I'm also going to be it's going to be specifically for loved ones with dementia. And this one is going to be covering the 7 stages of dementia, and I'm going to be giving you professional and personal experience with loved ones who have had to go through these stages, and to help you make a smooth transition through them as well, and keeping your loved one as independent as possible in the process. Okay. I'll end here by saying, Mary Riley, who was an occupational therapist pioneer, once said, "Man, through the use of his hands, energized by his mind and his will, can influence the state of his health." I wish you all health and purpose in your life. Thank you for letting me share tonight, and I hope to see you at one of our seminars.
Thank you, Julie. We're very lucky to have you on the Senior Commission. You bring abundant resources to us. So we are in our home stretch here. We want to give you guys time to mingle back there, get some snacks, and see our resources that we have, and ask your questions to some of the people back there. But our next speaker is going to be Maxine Ho. She's from Transitions Hospice, and she's going to talk about the 5 Wishes, which is a super wonderful document. It's really helpful for families who don't have any end-of-life planning at this point.
Hi, good evening. glad to be here today. Let me ask you, how many of us in here have loved ones who have all their ducks lined up in a row with advanced care planning? They've got everything done. I see 2 for maybe about a dozen hands in the room. And so I'll tell you, in my years working with older adults, aging adults, I have met about less than 25% who had all their ducks lined up in a row. So I encourage you, to fill out a 5 wishes or an advanced healthcare directive, because that's such an important part of advanced healthcare planning. When my dad was sick, the first thing that I did was put everything together for him. And it made the process of caring for him and the process of making healthcare decisions for him less overwhelming. My father had Lou Gehrig's disease, so I was his family caregiver for about 10 years before he passed. So I saw him from the beginning of the disease all the way to the end when he had hospice. And so advanced healthcare planning is a very scary topic for our loved ones to talk about, because at the end of the day, it's about end-of-life planning as well too. But when you plan ahead and you have a 5 wishes or you have an advanced healthcare directive, it's really not about giving up control, letting someone else make decisions for you. It's about your loved one and yourself even, because we all, we're all aging, so we all should, plan ahead. But these documents give us a voice, gives our loved ones a voice, empowers them to say what it is they want while they're living, what it is they want when they're going through certain illnesses, and what do they want at the end of life. And it's very encouraging to know that we can make these decisions and that our loved ones can make these decisions. So I encourage you, when you go home and you start, gathering all this information and reading through it and understanding it more, I encourage you to bring up that conversation with your loved ones and let them know that this is not about taking away their ability to make their decisions. This is about empowering them, giving them that voice, so when they can no longer speak for themselves, this piece of paper that they have filled out will speak for them, and it gives you the ability to carry out their wishes. So I encourage you to have the conversation, and if you have any questions, we're all here to help. All these wonderful, individuals here in the back. So please visit us at the end, and we're here to help you. So I encourage you to, find out, get as much information as you can, and move forward and start this conversation. Thank you.
Program in your little handouts, but what it is it's just the most user-friendly way of tackling these issues. And I suggest before you ask any loved one to go through it, that you try and answer those questions yourself. But it is a really great way to tackle that, and very thoughtful, easy process, I think, less threatening than some other things. So Lily's going to introduce our last and very special Bringing It Home speaker.
How's it going so far? Have we provided some useful information tonight that hopefully you can just put in your pocket? I hope you never have to use it, but if you do, it should be super useful. And as far as the 5 wishes in your program that we gave out when you checked in, we had a copy of the 5 wishes, but if you didn't get one, just indicate where you signed in that you want me to email it to you, and I can email it to you. And I think the program also has the link if you want to go to the site yourself. So, as we come to the end, I don't have enough time to tell you all the wonderful things we do at the South Pasadena Senior Center, but I believe we're pretty mighty even though we're small, and all these resources I have, loads and loads, and there goes that bird again, loads and loads of resources to help you. My contact information is in the program as well, but the Senior Center, even though we're small, we are fortunate to receive funding from the city of South Pasadena through the general fund, but we can't always ask because there's other departments that need funding. And so in 2007, myself and 2 founding board members created a nonprofit called the Senior Citizens Foundation of South Pasadena, and we saw the need and benefit as we moved on. We knew the population was growing, the center demands would continue to grow, and so we formed this nonprofit to raise funds regularly to support programming, and all these wonderful things that we get to do at the senior center, and I won't talk a whole lot about it because I'll take Barbara's show away from her. And so we're really fortunate, and I'm proud that the day I get to leave, that'll be there, and they'll still protect the senior center and provide additional funding to keep programs for your loved ones, for yourselves at some point, your friends and family, and encourage them to utilize. Well, one day I will. It's a comment, but we got prepared. Like prepare for a family, I'm prepared for this other family that I've been taking care of for 32 years, and I want to make sure it's safe when I leave, and so this is one of the selfish things that I wanted to do. And I'm going to introduce Barbara Sinclair, who is the president of the foundation. We have 7 board members. We have Dick Hegelson and Carolyn Gibbs from Glad back there. As part of the foundation, they sponsored, provided the goodies we have back there. So Barbara, please come up and she'll tell you a little bit of what they get to do for us.
I want to tell you how pleased I am here tonight. I understand that I don't know many of you, so I thought I'd give you a little bit of background about me to get me off the ground and started. I grew up in Pennsylvania. I went to undergraduate and graduate school back east. And it was really interesting because I was relatively young when I was offered a position here at Cal State Los Angeles when they were starting a brand new, unheard of baccalaureate program in nursing. I accepted. I moved to South Pasadena, which I quickly learned to love. And I have lived here ever since, my whole life, as an adult. In addition to being active at the university, I also was very active within the city. For example, I was on the Public Safety Commission for several terms and was the head of the commission, the chair. I was a friend of the library. I could go on and on. Why waste our time? In addition to being active at the university, however, I maintained activity in this community. I was a friend for years, and I was absolutely delighted when I was the recipient of the South Pasadena Older American of the Year Award in 2010. I was pretty old, but you know. Oh yes, I was also a co-founder of WISPA. How many of you have heard WISPA? Oh, good. Well, I can give the rest of you more information later on that one. Women involved in South Pasadena political activities. I could go on, but the reason you're here tonight is to look at the Senior Center's foundation. It was formed in 2007, as Liliana told us. It evolved as the past and head founders saw the need for additional financial support for the present and the future, so that the South Pasadena Senior Center would not have to rely solely on the city's general fund for its operations, because in reality, you don't always have access to those monies. The funds are not always available. Not too long thereafter, I was appointed to the board, and frankly, I became quite interested in the Senior Center, as I strongly believed it assisted older individuals to be more comfortable with themselves as they aged, and also to enjoy the multiple programs and other people that they met at the center. The mission of the Senior Center's Citizens Foundation is to benefit the South Pasadena Senior Center by encouraging public support, providing fiscal assistance for services, programs, and equipment at the center, maintaining close collaboration with the Senior Commission, and promoting awareness and understanding among citizens of our city regarding resources, services, and needs of South Pasadena Senior Center. Over the last 12 years, the foundation was aware of the needs and has given the center a variety of what I would refer to as gifts. And these have included such things as the stainless steel coffee cabinet, the water dispenser with filter, 3 LCD screens, 45 inches, 55 inches, and 80 inches, bookshelves in the library area, task chairs for the computer lab, printer for the computer lab, banquet tables for the patio and luncheons, card-playing patio set, and 10 lectures on arts, cultures, and science every year. Think about that. Funding of the social services program for 5 years. Funding of special events like Mother's Day and Christmas celebrations and community workshops. For example, one of those would be what to do about mom and dad. And coming this month, we'll have new benches for the entry passageway. Future needs of the center have been discussed and determined to be replacement of the floors. How many of you have been in a senior center? How many of you go to the senior center? You probably could give me some information. You can come back there and say, this is what we need over here. And, well, anyway, replacement of the floors, painting of the interior, installation of a movable wall between the 2 front classrooms so that we can open it up and have one large room, or we can close it up and have 2 smaller rooms whenever we need to have such for classes. An enhancement of the quality of the outside patio and its furnishings. And I'm sure we're going to come up with more the more often we meet. Future needs of the center have been discussed and determined to be the things I just mentioned to you, and you're going to wonder, how are you going to do it? Well, one of the ways is via legacy gifts. Legacy gifts will be accepted with many thanks for remembering the senior center. These can be accomplished by estate planning, naming the foundation as a beneficiary of life insurance policies, and of course, cash donations in memory or honor of a loved one. The foundation is truly looking forward to helping those in the senior center meet needs and desires. We recognize that services would be cut back without foundation support, and we hope that you have the same recognition. Thank you. I would be very glad to answer any questions, and I'm sure there are going to be some coming up. I will be at the back. This was the group that provided all the goodies tonight. Pretty nice, huh? I thought they were delicious.
We're very lucky to have such a great foundation behind us. So you guys have been so patient and you've been given so much information. Since almost all our speakers are still here, I'm going to say, why don't we break down? And you can ask them questions or ask us questions, but we'll let you mingle. And thank you so much for coming tonight. Really appreciate it.